Hello, everybody, and welcome back to That Pretentious Book Club. And I think this is coming out in the new year, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yay.
Woo! That over there is your host, Kendall Shaw, aka Dr. Spoons Palermo.
Hi, howdy. And over there is your beautiful host, Ash O'Rourke, but you can call her Wheezy.
It ain't easy being wheezy, although it feels a little bit easier the week between Christmas and New Year's because there's no rules for anything. You can
There's
eat
really
chocolate
not.
for breakfast. I could drink alcohol all day because I have to finish drinking the alcohol we bought for Christmas. I can just play with all of my presents. Like I was just showing Spoons. I put the sticker she got me on a water bottle my sister got me. There's no rules for anything. And I did spend 4 hours today working on a D&D campaign. And part of that was me creating a map of one of the books that I wrote. So the map of the world in it, because that's what I decided in a very egotistical and narcissistic way to set the D&D campaign in.
I love that.
It's good. It was fantastic. Yeah. But anyways,
It's very exciting.
It is. Spoons, how has your gray week been?
It's been pretty good actually. I love this week because it's like, well, at my internship, like nobody's there. It's like because it's a school thing. So it's like no work, no, nothing. I'm kind of just vibing.
Nice.
I went to knitting group with my grandma and my cousin on Wednesday.
Aww.
I saw the new Avatar, and now I
haven't seen it yet.
I like get Avatar now. Before I was like Avatar's whatever. I was like I'm
Really?
just gonna go see it because everyone's seeing it, and might as well see it. And now I'm like, no, Avatar's awesome. I think this one is way better than the first one.
Wow,
Way
and I thought
better.
the first one was good. So I mean, I don't really know what to think about this.
I hope you like it.
We'll see.
Talk about it. But yeah, and then what else? I spent a lot of time with my family, which was great. So yeah,
family.
kind of just enjoying my time.
Did you get any super cool Christmas gifts? Because that's what Christmas is all about.
Absolutely, that's what it's about. And yes, I did. I got a dress form for sewing, and she's adjustable.
This is my dream. You're living my dream.
I'll bring it over and we can play with it because it is like I just know it's going to bring my sewing game up like 1,000 times, So this is a very exciting development.
Here, I have a proposal for you. Okay. You can bring the dress form over. We're just going to get buku fabric. We can use my super fancy sewing machine and we can sew costumes for our D&D characters / book characters.
My God.
And we can just wear them to like when we play D&D and also just, as super nerds and also like to Renaissance fairs and stuff. And also just, around the house to do chores and stuff.
It sounds so fun. That's like exactly what I want.
Excellent. This is exactly what I want too. Ruby doesn't. Ruby is barking, my puppy, but that's okay because you will like to see Auntie Spoons.
It's all right, Ruby. You can be involved.
She's like, I want to be involved with the cat is what the problem is. I want to just bark at the cat until we're friends because I think she's like, that's how you make friends, isn't it?
She's like, I'm a literal infant. I have very few social skills. I don't really know what's going on.
Is it a literal infant? That's the thing. She's over there chewing on the rug now. Okay, well, whatever makes her happy. Oh God. Let me see. So, anything else from your week?
Not really.
You're like, absolutely not.
Kind of not. I've been Haley and I were cleaning a lot today.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, that was me the day after Christmas. And I did take the tree outside today. I was like, so this has been fun, but there are pine needles all over my house and the dog won't stop drinking the tree water. So I, to save myself the sanity, was like, the tree is going outside now. Christmas is over. Pretty much immediately.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. I got my mom.
Oh yes, I should ask. What did you get?
Oh,
so sorry,
no
I'm
worries.
like bad at socializing at the moment, I guess.
Me
and Ruby are the same.
Are we friends now? So obviously Ruby's my best Christmas present, who I got early from Hobby because dogs are expensive. And so that was exciting. But for like gifts I got on Christmas, and I know that gifts are not what it's about, but I do have to say I'm so positively thrilled out of my mind. My mom got me a little foot massager and I'm so happy.
Oh,
It's so nice. I've been complaining for like 2 months that I don't know why. People usually get older, they complain about like, oh, my back hurts now. I'm like, no, my feet hurt. My feet hurt so bad. And I
oh
don't know why.
no.
And so for like 2 months, I've just been like, oh my God, my feet hurt. I wish, and you can't really massage your own feet. Like it doesn't really
No,
work. And so
not
I've
at
been
all.
complaining about that. And I got a foot massager and it's so
That is
nice.
amazing. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love it too.
Ooh,
It's so nice. And I started playing this game called Raft with Javi, which is a survival
raft.
game. But now Javi can't play it with me because his PC is here. So I need other people to play it with me. Spoons.
Sure. I'll play raft. How does one play
Cool.
raft?
It's a really fun survival game. I'll take like a little video of me playing it and send it to you. It's pretty fun and pretty chill. I want to play it on creative mode where the shark can't eat you alive. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
get my friend Marissa to play it with me also. What up, Marissa? She sent me this fantastic Christmas gift, and I will say that some of the stuff in it was wrapped in Justin Bieber Christmas wrapping paper, which was
I love
honestly
that.
just as good as the rest of the gift, which was also spectacular. So it was amazing. And she sent me chocolates that are, for all intents and purposes, a shot of alcohol. I mean, like, there's a lot of like liqueur chocolates and like, they have a taste of liqueur. No,
Mhm.
you bite into this and literally alcohol, liquid alcohol spills out all over your hands if you bite into it instead of just putting the whole thing in your mouth. So essentially,
Wow.
and it's not even like a sweet or diluted alcohol. It's just straight alcohol. Like you would think like this is like a Russian chocolate is what you would think.
Oh
This is what
my
the
God.
Russians eat around the
This
Christmas
is
fire. But I think it's German. I think it's a German chocolate actually. So I guess it makes sense for the Germans too. But
yeah.
yeah, anyway, so that's been exciting. So I
Wow,
literally
that's
have
crazy.
I have a hypothesis that if I were to eat half the box, I'd get tipsy. And I'm really curious, like maybe I should give it a shot just because I really want to know. Because it is a
I think
strong alcohol.
there's only one way to know for sure. And I think that if you don't test the theory, like you're wasting your opportunity, you
I
know?
feel like I feel like it's gonna come back to haunt me for maybe the rest of my life if
Mm-hmm.
I don't try and get tipsy off this box of chocolates. So maybe that's what I'm doing after recording that and
Mm-hmm.
continuing to work on the D&D campaign, which is very fun and a lot of work. And I also my fingers are just now recovering. I got literally a blister on top of a blister and now I have this crazy callus because I replaced all of my carpet in my room with cheap flooring and it's wonderful. Oh my God, is it wonderful? Kale helped me finish like the last half of it. And so it was like 2 a.m. when we finally finished it.
Oh
And
my
then I
God.
painted all of the walls in one day. I did the primer, the trim, and the top coat all in one day. And I painted the whole bathroom. And I'm so happy. I mean, look, it's not like the shade of depression anymore.
No, it's a very
It's so
nice color.
nice. Yeah.
For
It's like
those
a
listening, it's like oh, you were gonna describe
no,
it.
no, good.
Sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
go for it. Oh no, you tell me what kind of green
Oh,
is it?
it's a bit like a sea foam green, perhaps, or like even a pale like fairy green, maybe.
Yeah, it's
I I
nice.
I like it.
It's good. It's so funny. It looks greener on the camera than it looks like in real life. It looks a little bit paler, but it is
Hmm.
wonderful. And I'm so happy with it. And that my floors don't smell like animal pee, even though it's raining outside. So the whole house does smell like animal pee right now because whenever it's like really humid, all of Caleb was explaining. I was like, why does it smell more like animal pee when it rains outside? I was like, is that a thing or am I just hallucinating? He goes, no. When the air is more moist, it rehydrates the molecules that are in all your furniture and stuff. And so all of the
Ew.
pee is getting rehydrated in my house. And now my house
Gross.
smells like animal pee to me. I mean, my room is not bad because I got rid of the carpets, but the living room because the cats peed on the couch so many times, which is
Uh,
disgusting. And I know all of you are like, I'm never going to her house. I know. I'm ashamed.
well,
Okay. Don't
listen,
shame me.
people, this is just what happens with pets sometimes.
It really is,
Just
especially when
how
they
it
have
is.
attitudes. Like Ruby,
Mm-hmm.
she's laying underneath the chair with her head on one of the like chair legs, just like resting on it
Oh,
asleep right
she's such
now.
a sweet baby.
Yeah, so she played so hard outside this morning when I was walking around the farm talking about some projects we're doing with my brother. And then when I came back to grab Ruby from she was playing with Winnie and I was just keeping an eye on her, she was covered in dirt, just covered in dirt. And I was like, Disgusting. Great.
Ew.
And so then I stuck her in the shower with me and I showered her off because she likes to prance around in the shower while I'm showering. So I was like, let's just make this as not traumatic as possible. And I took a shower and I just stuck her in there so she could play in the water. And then I was like, now it's your turn, and gave her a little shower. And then she passed out, wrapped up in her towel like a baby. I was thinking that she would squirm out of it like she usually does. She was so tired. She just knocked out in the towel for like an hour. And I was just holding her like a baby in her towel.
Oh my
It
God.
was so funny. I'll send you a picture, but it was precious. So it's been pretty cute. It's been pretty chaotic trying to house train the puppy, but it's been pretty cute when it's not been horrible.
I mean, it's still a puppy. Like, she's still so sweet and cute.
She is. I'm also sending you a progression of all of my mom taking a nap on the couch and all of the animals one by one joining her. And I took like a progression of photos as they all got closer and closer.
I
to
just
her.
got them. Oh, her little bow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She's like covered in animals.
She is, yeah.
Oh.
They're like, you look warm. I think I'll lay here.
Blanket.
I know, in a little blankie. Knocked out. It was so freaking funny. Yeah. So anyways, Christmas stuff. Christmas was wonderful. Hobby was home. It was awesome. Did the floors, did the walls, had all of Christmas, roasted my first turkey and made Irish potato stuffing. So that was good. I also made mincemeat pies for the first time ever. Ooh. And they were delicious, by the way.
I mean, I
amazing. Bet. Yeah. And then I made a cherry pie and a chocolate cream pie and a pumpkin pie. So
that sounds really good.
It was all pretty good. Although I am furious to say that after they were like, yeah, no, we do want a pumpkin pie. And I used one of the pumpkins from my own garden. Do you know who ate the pumpkin pie?
You.
Only me. You. And I've had 2 pieces of it. The rest of the pie is still just there. And I'm like, I'm furious, right? And it's way better tasting than my last one. My last one had a better texture, but this one, like, it tastes so good. I'm like,
this is sickening.
So mad.
You gotta force feed everyone in your family this pie. Like,
I know.
I'm sorry, but you're eating this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you're all eating the pie that I worked my ass off on because I had to roast the pumpkin myself, okay, and scrape it clean. And it is a bit more of a process when you use an actual like pie pumpkin than from a can, okay?
You grew that pumpkin. Not only are you just scraping it, you grew it.
I grew it, and it was a lot of work. And now I'm already having to plan my garden for the spring, which is like, wow, a lot. But I'm happy to say that I'm done reading this book now, as of a few hours ago. Because I needed to plan the D&D campaign in my garden, but instead I'm like, unfortunately, I have to finish reading this behemoth of a novel that Spoons picked out.
It is, yeah. See, I almost suggested, but we already had like decided to do it. But like last week, I was like, maybe we should just do like half of it, and then we can save half of it for later. Like, because it's basically like in like 3 parts anyway, or 2 parts. I was like, this is a mess. This is so long.
It is so long. The audiobook, if you guys are curious, is over 24 hours long.
It's very long. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very long. So that, plus I also had to reread the entire player's handbook for Dungeons and Dragons. Because here's the thing, let me tell you guys before we get into the book about if you guys have never been a DM, a dungeon master. I haven't. I am now because nobody else volunteered for it. Here's the thing. If you're like, I don't know how to play D&D, I've been concerned because I don't know the rules. You don't have to, because basically you'll just try and do something. And if you don't know what you're doing, the dungeon master will correct you or tell you what you can do. So I've just always relied on that and been like, I don't have to learn the rules of this game because the dungeon master knows the rules. Now I have to learn and remember those rules.
Now you're the one who has to know the rules,
which is hard. And so the creating the campaign part, not that hard, but just trying to know what the rules of the game actually are, that was harder. So I had to like read through the whole player's handbook. I'm currently reading through the dungeon master's guide. I've already like read through a couple other D&D things. So my brain hurts. So that on top of trying to read all of Three Musketeers.
Yeah,
and
that's
now I can finish the campaign.
That's a lot of lore, you know. You're like, okay, now I have to know about Louis the 13th, and I have to know about you know, critical fails. Like, this is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm like, maybe what we really need, maybe what I really should do for the campaign is do like a twist on the Three Musketeers for the D&D campaign. I mean, that could be pretty cool.
Actually, I think it's perfect because it's the perfect setup for like questing and stuff. It's like, here we go on a little musketeer quest.
To be honest, it really is. If I hadn't already put so much work into like the world map of my book and had more freedom with that, the Three Musketeers would make an excellent premise for a D&D campaign.
It really would.
Yeah, there's like intrigue and spies and all kinds, and assassins and all kinds of battles and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait a
Lots
minute.
of interesting characters. Like,
Yeah.
you can do
Maybe I just
basically
need to
anything.
just copy and paste all the plot points from Three Musketeers into a D&D
Of
campaign.
which there are many.
Oh, yes. There are so many. Oh, and if you guys, it's too late now, but in the future, if you guys want to skip our nonsense and go straight to the book, you can.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, and then I didn't because I didn't care. So that's a thing you can do if you're
But
interested
you
in not
can
listening
in
to
the
the
future.
nonsense. Yeah.
So, new
Skip notes.
year, new reminder. You
New year,
know,
new reminder that will probably the last one of the season because I'll forget every other episode is if
we
you
do
don't
almost
listen,
always forget.
we do pretty much forget, but I don't ever forget to put the skip notes in the show description. So they're in there if you guys just want to hear about the book.
Yep.
So they're there, and I'm sorry. Kind of sorry. I'm not super sorry. I'm like a little bit sorry. But I hope everyone had good holidays and a happy new year. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Usually I'm like, blech, a new year. And for some reason, I'm excited for this year. I feel like
I
good
am
things are going to
too.
come.
I feel like last year was so bad for me that like this
Mhm.
year it's gonna be really good. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, last year was hard in a lot of ways. There were some good things too. The year before that was just hard all around. So I'm looking forward to it. And also I'm really looking forward to we're going on a writer's retreat. Right?
Yeah, we
Yes.
are.
And so I'm very excited because I've thought it out and I think we're going to go to New Mexico. So that's like an 8-hour drive for us. And I'm like, and we're getting a truck. So we could just take the truck and you and I can go and we can load it up with whatever we want and the dog because Ruby's going to come too. And we're just going to have like a week-long writer's retreat and it's going to be awesome. And you love New Mexico. So I feel like, and so does
love
Carissa.
Nuevo
So
Mexico.
exactly. So does Carissa. So I feel like the aesthetic is very much for you guys. And I don't care where I go. So I am excited to go somewhere
You're gonna love it
different.
too. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So I'm super jazzed about that. I don't know when that's happening this year. And then my mermaid friend, Marissa, is probably going to come out and see me. So I'm super jazzed about that. Yeah. We're starting working on the house. And I'm trying to train for my advanced freedive cert. So it's just like there's a lot of big, exciting things to look forward to this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And not as many of the really hard things. A lot of the good things and the hard things are mixed together this year, but at least there's not too many like just hard things with absolutely no benefit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see what happens. And y'all are all here with us. So I'm sure
you'll be getting regular
it.
updates whether or not you want it.
Whether you want it. This is our podcast, damn it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything you're looking forward to in the new year before we get into stuff?
I'm looking forward to finally getting a big girl job and having money. Yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. And I'm really excited because I'm kind of almost done with the book I'm writing right now. And I'm feeling really good about it. So those are the two main things at the moment. Also, a bunch of movies that I'm excited for come out this year. Like a bunch.
Have you watched Glass Onion?
Yes, I saw it in the theaters when it was out.
Oh, that's right. I want to watch it so bad. I'm going to watch it in the new year.
Great. I don't think I liked it as much as Knives Out, but I would watch like 8,000 Benoit Blanc mysteries. Like I would watch them forever and ever and ever. Like I love it.
That's what they did for Hercule Poirot. So
exactly, he's our new Hercule Poirot.
He is, exactly. There's something about him where you're just like, I never want to stop looking at you.
Yes. Oh my God, he's amazing.
I agree.
Well, should we get into it?
Yeah. Okay, so this episode we are covering the giant, enormous, super, super long novel by Alexandre Dumas, The Three Musketeers, or as I've been calling it, and you're gonna hate this, and I hate it too, but I can't stop thinking about it. The Three Musky Boys, which is disgusting, but they probably were. So
I like it. Honestly, they kind of deserve that too. Like they are a little musky.
They are musky. So we're going to talk about the Three Musky Boys today. But first, I'm going to tell you about our author, Alexandre Dumas. He actually seems like a pretty fun dude, to be honest. I don't know about honestly, like the most moral, but who cares?
Based on what I know about him, he sounds so fun.
He sounds like so fun. He sounds kind of like your friend who is maybe not the most responsible, but is like really, really sweet and knows how to have a good time and make sure everybody's having a good time. Like not just completely self-centered about the good time, but really also good at indulging themselves. Very creative. I mean, he would just be such a fun friend. So all of the info I got about him is from Britannica.com and biography.com. So he was born July 24th, 1802, making him a
Leo. That's my dad's birthday.
Oh, what? They have the same birthday.
I gotta tell him. He'll love that.
You do. That's so fun. So he's most well known for his books, The Count of Monte Cristo, which apparently is one of Carissa's favorites over at our sister podcast, the Scripturient Society.
It is one of my favorite movies.
Is it?
So I have not read the book, but I love the movie.
I know nothing about The Count of Monte Cristo. I also knew very little about the Three Musketeers, except for the one with Logan Lerman in it that I love.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't care that it's not accurate. I do want to watch it again. It is iconic.
Me
I want to watch it.
I was immediately like, okay, it's time to rewatch Three Musketeers 2011.
100% it is. So he also wrote memoirs, which, this is according to Britannica.com, quote, provide a unique insight into French literary life during the Romantic period, end quote. I do really like that because it's so funny, because until somewhat recently in history, like the literary like salon of like writers is always like such a weird group of people. And there's like a overall European one. There's an overall like, you know, United States one.
Yeah.
And then there's like the country specific ones. And these little groups of writers are just like, it's weird because until recently they've been considered like very important and posh. And I feel like that is just not the vibe that writers these days have. And they all kind of hung out together somehow. And I'm like, I just don't feel like, you know, J.K. Rowling is hanging out with Marissa Meyer and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I just don't feel like they are.
Who does Stephen King hang out with? You know, I feel like he's alone in Maine. Like, that's what he does.
Exactly. That's what he does, is being alone in Maine.
Yeah.
Also, he writes some stuff. I mean, oh, God. So Dumas's father, Thomas Alexander Davy de la Bayetterie. Okay, I can't do French, so just know that I
sounded good. I mean,
thank you. I try.
Once again, sorry to our French listener. I believe we have one.
Yeah, sorry. I deeply apologize. You deserve better than this, but I'm giving you my best work.
Oh yeah, not for you. That was for me. You know, in the future when I mispronounce things.
Oh no, that's for me too. It's almost worse because I could just embrace that I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but instead I'm like, I'm gonna go out of my way to try in a really gross way.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to a restaurant, like when you go to like a Mexican restaurant and you're like, I know how to pronounce, I think, what's on the menu, but do I just say it like a total gringo, or do I, and they just accept like you're stupid and I understand you're a stupid white person who can't speak Spanish, or do you try and they go, ugh, gross. I hate when you mess up our language. Okay. Like, what's worse?
I face this all the time because like, I mean, I've lived my whole life in Texas. Like, I know how to pronounce a lot of the stuff.
I know how to pronounce enchilada.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But like, I could even try it with an accent. Like, I can kind of do it. Yeah. But it's like, am I bold enough to actually do it? Or should it just be like, listen, I'm white. Like, this is...
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean.
Exactly. I even speak Italian, though. But when I go to Italian places, I'm like, I feel like if I pronounce what's on the menu with an Italian accent, that is just so pretentious of me to do that. And do the servers know how it's actually pronounced, or do they think I'm just making it up and being pretentious? Like, what am I supposed to do here? Either way, it's a very much a lose-lose situation.
It's so true. It's like, at what level should I try? You know, like, what? I usually go for somewhere in the middle. Where it's
exactly. Like, I don't. Chili rellenos is one of my favorite, but I don't go like, can I get the chili rellenos or whatever? Which I just did really bad because I'm in French mode right now. But I also don't go, can I get the chili rellenos? Which is not great either. I say, can I get the chili rellenos? Which is a little more in the middle, and it's still
you're
somewhat
not pronouncing
acceptable.
The L's, but you're also kind of doing chili. Like, it's a bit in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't call like tortillas tortillas or anything.
My grandpa, God bless him, calls jalapenos. He says jalapeno, and
so
it is hilarious to me.
My grandfather called them jalapenos. So
jalapeno. Like, yeah, it's another level.
I know. There's something I had a grandfather who was from far out East Texas with like the thickest accent, and he married an Italian woman, hence my Italian side of the family. And he learned to speak Italian because they lived in Italy, but he never, God bless his soul, ever learned to speak it without anything but a deep East Texas accent. And so it was just so freaking weird to hear him speak Italian. I'm like, you've lived over there for like 15 years. How is it possible that you still are like, ciao, como sta? Like, instead of like, how is it possible?
The Italians are like, all right. I mean, I know what you're saying, but
we hate Bush. This is why they hate Texas. They hated they used to say, oh, if you're from Texas, that's Bush's state. And so I don't know why they hated Bush. I honestly don't know what the deal is, but maybe it was more like they hate Texas and Bush was from Texas. So I don't know if it was the chicken or the egg situation. But
they're like, we hate all of it. Don't talk to us. Oh my God. Did I ever tell you one time when we went to California and we were at this like burger place like in near Anaheim, and it was kind of just like hole in the wall kind of place, but like this surfer guy was like the only one working there, and he was so stereotypically California guy.
Oh my God.
And it was really
I have
fun,
met 3 stereotypical California surfer boys in my life, and it has been the best experience. And I have felt like they're so amazing. Good. They just breathe on you and your IQ drops by like 50, but you're having such good vibes.
The vibes are immaculate. But he was literally like, dude, where are you guys from, man? Like that kind of thing. And we were like, oh, we're here from Texas. And he was like, whoa, Texas, dude. He was like, do you guys like know George Bush or what? Like, what the he straight up was like, do you know him? And we were like, no.
Also, Texas is even if very it was big. Like a normal size state like Oregon or something, no, they still wouldn't know. But really, oh my God.
Like you'd think he was joking, like it sounds like a joke, but he kind of seemed serious. Is like the only reason why I still remember it. It was so funny.
Yeah, there was a kid I used to burger. Well, that's what matters for him, you know. Yeah. And you, that sounds great.
Yeah, it was great for me.
I assumed that this kid I got partnered up with a lot in one of my literature classes. Hey, Nate, what up? I assume he has some talents. He showed me a video of him surfing once and he seemed to be pretty good at it. But I will say that because we always sat by each other, we always got paired up together. And every time the teacher would ask us like a question, like to answer like in pairs, I would be like, Nate, if you open your goddamn mouth, I'm going to kill you. Because he never got a single answer right. He talked like such a bra, dude. And he was like, dude, look at this choice wave, man. And would like show me these videos of him surfing. And I was like, it's all he thinks about. And I'm like, I love that for you. Well, that's his thing. That's what he does is he surfs. I should say that's it. What up, Nate? Good job. You're a great surfer. You killed me. Absolutely killed me in that class, though. Like, he was such a nice dude, too. But I was like, I don't know if you are dumb or if you just sound dumb. But either way, like, I never in my life ever want to get paired up on any project with you again.
Nate, you're a great guy. Do not fucking answer a question again or I will kill you.
I will kill you. And he was so nice, too. I was like, I'm usually like the dumber the person, the more entertaining, you know. I've never been annoyed before.
I love dumb people.
I do too, except for Nate. At the time, I was like, Nate, I'm over you. I'm done with you, bud. You're like, chaw, dude. Look at this gnarly wave. Shut up, Nate. Shut up, Nate, about your gnarly waves.
Nate, show me after class. Dang it.
Oh, but he was adorable and very sweet. But also, like, I also feel like Californian surfer boys are some of the only like grown blonde men who are left. So he was blonde. So were the 2 men in California that were like, oh yeah, the beach towels are over here. Where we also stopped on a road trip and we were like, we forgot to bring towels with you guys. And it was like $40 a beach towel. And I was like, this is insane. I hate this place.
Oh my God.
But they were also so stereotypical Californian boy, and both of them blonde as well.
Oh yeah. That's like you're right. That might be one of the only places left you can find grown blonde men.
Yeah, that and then like Norway.
Like Norway, yeah.
Maybe Sweden, I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, that's funny.
Okay. That was a really fun riff. I'll keep talking about Alexandre Dumas. Wait, I would like to really quickly, I can pronounce chili relleno. I can say it. I'm sorry. I did say it so badly it was embarrassing. Okay, so what?
This is funny. You're like, I had to set the record straight.
I have to set the record straight. I can pronounce it. I cannot speak Spanish after 3 years and getting C's for 3 years, but Italian and Spanish is too confusing together. I do mix them up sometimes, which is not good. Anyways, so Dumas's father, Thomas Alexander David de la Payaterie, I just said this. So he was born out of wedlock to the Marquis de la Payaterie and Marie Suzette Dumas, a black slave from Santo Domingo. which this is just very cool. He's like, his dad has a very cool backstory. So the Dumas family name was adopted from Alexandre Dumas's grandmother, which was the Marie Cassette Dumas, the slave from Santo Domingo. And so then his dad, Thomas Alexander, took the name Dumas when he enlisted in Napoleon's army, where he acquired the nickname, quote, Black Devil, which I do not know what or why, but for some reason.
Dumas' dad?
Yeah, Dumas's dad, who married a or I don't know about married. No.
Yeah.
Born out of wedlock too. So Alexandre Dumas. Yeah, I know. So Alexandre Dumas, the author of that we're talking about, his father was the illegitimate child of the Marquis de la Pelleterie and Marie Cassette Dumas, a black slave from Santo Domingo. So
his dad was.
His dad, yeah.
Oh,
so Alexandre Dumas, the author, his grandmother was, I think that's Haitian. Don't quote me on it, but I think it is.
Okay.
His grandmother was a slave. And so I don't even want to, probably very bad situation that led to this being born out of wedlock. But it comes to something cool later. So I'm going to continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Thomas Alexander, Dumas's father, when he enlisted in Napoleon's army, acquired the nickname Black Devil. And then he rose to the rank of general at the age of 31, which was the highest rank any black man had ever had in a European army.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
Good for him.
I know. I just thought that was really cool. So I know it's not specifically about Alexandre Dumas. It's about Thomas Alexander Dumas, but I thought it was cool to include.
I mean, yeah, it's his, like, his background,
exactly. And also, like, when you look at, their pictures or whatever, because when you go online, you can see like their old timey portrait photos and everything. Of course, they look very different than people we usually see, which is like white on white folks. And so it was just cool because both men were pretty dang successful in their lives.
I love that. I honestly, because growing up, I had no idea that Alexandre Dumas was black, and then, or has like mixed ethnicity. I had no clue, and when I saw a picture of him, I was like, what?
Until this, I had no clue that he had mixed ethnicity, which is crazy. That's and just so cool. I'm just good for them. Not that people aren't talented or haven't been, but historically they've been so kept out of, like, kept away from opportunity. Totally. It was so nice to see both of these dudes were like, nah, adversity, I don't think so, and just killed it in life. Amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool that they were able to be successful.
Exactly.
It's in the time period.
Exactly. So after General Dumas, so Alexander's father, died in 1806, the family was kind of struggling. And at that time, so his mom, Marie-Louise Labourreau, was working really hard to provide an education for her son. And so that was when he attended a school, Abbe Gregory's school. I don't know. I did that very gringo and I don't care. Like how I'm mixing all the languages too again. So he took a job as an assistant notary, essentially. So he was working for a lawyer in Paris, making a living. And then he obtained a post working in the household of the Duc d'Orleans. Duke's like the Duke de Orleans, like New Orleans, which is kind of cool.
I don't know.
Orleans with the future king Louis Philippe. So post in the household of the Duke de Orleans, the future king Louis Philippe. So he was working for the future king. I'm sorry, what?
What time period was this?
This was in the early 1800s, mid 1800s. I don't know at this point. I don't know at what year he was working there. But then he was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to try working in theater, which is everyone who majored in theater can tell you is not the way to go if you want to make any kind of money or even have enough to pay your bills.
Don't do it.
Don't do it if you want to pay your bills that way. So he made contact with the actor Francois Joseph Talma. Don't know who that is. And with the other young poets who were leading the Romantic movement at the time. So obviously he was very involved in the Romantic movement in France. I do really like the Romantic literary movement. I think it was fun. It was just kind of like crazy and idealistic, and like all of the fiction was really exciting, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it's great.
He also penned and I found this one off biography.com, didn't hear anything else about it, but I think this is excellent. Penned the fantasy novel The Wolf Leader, which is considered one of the earliest werewolf books.
What?
And I'm like, wait a minute, because I didn't read about this on the other websites. Where is this from?
Where is that?
I need it.
That's awesome.
I need to know. Anyway, so Dumas's plays were considered crude, brash, and melodramatic, but so they were received with great rapture, essentially, in the late 1820s and early 1830s.
Ugh, they didn't know what they had.
Yeah, well, they were enjoying it. They had a great time. They were like, ugh, disgusting. Where's the
Oh,
next Dumas
they
play?
liked it.
Cannot wait to see
I
it.
get you.
Yeah,
No,
they
that's
liked
awesome.
it. So let's see. He did one about Henry III, Napoleon Bonaparte, Antony, which was about adultery and honor, paradoxically,
Okay.
and did excellently. And so then he started writing historical novels. And I'm just going to go ahead and read a quote here. Considerations of probability or historical accuracy generally were ignored, and the psychology of the characters was rudimentary. So this is essentially so the Count of Monte Cristo and Three Musketeers are both historical fiction, and I'm definitely going to say yeah. So he wasn't super interested in writing accurate historical fiction. He was like, what's exciting? Like, there's a few times people were like, and they got stabbed through the stomach and lived in this book, and I was like, that doesn't feel like as accurate. But Alexandre Dumas was like, but wouldn't it be great if, and like an exciting adventure if?
Yes.
And
I respect it. Like, okay, but wouldn't it be awesome if?
This is what I'm saying. Alexandre Dumas would be such a fun friend to have. Like, he's there for a good time, knows how to like tell a great story. It might be half lies, but you're so entertained. You don't care, and you don't care.
Yeah.
So his main interest was creating exciting sets and colorful backgrounds for history, usually that took place in the 16th or 17th century. So the published in 1844, performed in 1845, was the Three Musketeers, or Les Trois Musketeers, I think is the way you pronounce it in French, or something remotely closer to that than the English way of saying it. It was a romance about, this is a quote, four swashbuckling heroes in the age of Cardinal Richelieu. I don't know. Richelieu. So here's the thing about the Three Musketeers. I know that the Three Musketeers, like, I know that D'Artagnan is not one of the Musketeers, but I do feel like he's the main character. So
he totally is.
I kind of hate that the book is named after the three side characters.
It's a little confusing because every time when I was younger, they'd be like, there's four of them. Like, I don't understand why it's called the Three Musketeers.
It's very, very confusing. And then we have Le Comte de Monte Cristo, the Count of Monte Cristo, obviously. And then some other ones that, let's see, something called 10 Years Later, and La Tulipe Noire, the Black Tulip in 1850. Don't know what that's about, but that's a killer title. I don't know why he didn't apply that method of titling to the Three Musketeers. But watch, there's not a black tulip or any reference to it anywhere in that book.
No. It's just a cool phrase he came up with.
Yeah, he's just there for a good time. So he was earning quite a bit of money from those. And so with that money, he was living pretty indulgently. He purchased land and built the Chateau de Monte Cristo in Port Marly, France. So
he built it.
He built it.
That's iconic of him.
It's amazing. This is what I'm saying. He is iconic in every way that he could be. His house is now a museum, and he spent a lot of his time writing there and entertaining because, he was one great one for a party before he became really in debt, had to sell the property because he wasn't basically selling enough and or writing enough to pay off all of his expenses because he was living very extravagantly. Yep. So he fled to I know. So he fled to Belgium in 1851 and later to Russia to evade creditors. Imagine being so in debt that you went all the way to Russia to get away from your debtors.
Dang.
Yeah. So he continued to publish books on the way, kind of hoping that he would make money off of them to pay off his expenses. So those included travel books that were about Russia and his period of exile, but they didn't really sell well at all. In his life, Dumas also had a son, which he also named Alexander. So what would that be? Alexander III, with a woman named Marie Laurie Catherine Lebay. I think that's three Maries. I'm pretty sure that means that three men in this family married and or had children with a Marie. Pretty sure, which is a little, and they all named their kid Alexander, which feels a little sketchy to me.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah, and get this, his son also was an author and followed in his literary footsteps.
What?
Yeah, and then let's see, in 1840, so this is about his son, Dumas, the Alexander III, I believe that's the one, married actress Ida Ferrier, but continued having affairs with other women and had one daughter, listen to this, Marie Alexandrine. They had to go for both Marie and Alexander. Yep.
Wow. She's the culmination of years of work, really. Like
she was. So he had her out of wedlock, and then he continued to date much younger women, even in his old age. So it does feel a little bit like, as the Alexandre Dumases continued, it feels like every generation they got a little bit worse. But I feel like that's just humanity.
We're like, let's just be sluts now.
Yeah, what if we're just sluts now? Which is that feels about right for humans. So Alexandre Dumas's works have been translated into more than 100 languages and adapted for numerous films, including the iconic Three Musketeers with Logan Lerman. And I learned about that when I had a massive crush on Logan Lerman.
Oh my God. It was
biggest.
Raging for all of us, wasn't it?
Like, it really was. Well, because as soon as they were like, we found Percy Jackson, we were like, oh my God, you mean you found my next husband? Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
So we're all deeply devoted to him from then on. I don't know if he has any idea how much that one fact for a lot of us was like, now we're devoted to Logan Lerman. Didn't know who he was before that. I hope he knows how much he owes to Percy Jackson.
That movie is so iconically cast as well, like even besides Logan, because Matthew McFadden is in it as Athos. Orlando Bloom is in it. What's that guy's name who plays Aramis? Oh, he's so hot. Anyway, it's a mess. It's
iconic. It is amazing. It's amazing.
Nicholson is in it. What the heck?
Yeah. And the plot is not that accurate, but to be honest, just reading about Alexandre Dumas's personality, I don't think he'd have given a shit. I think he'd have been like, what's the most exciting what we can do?
Yeah.
Cool. Throw the whole book out the window. Let's do that. Exactly. It's kind of steampunky. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And it was, and I was very confused the first time I saw it because I was like, this was not what I was expecting.
Yeah, this doesn't seem accurate.
This doesn't seem correct. So the unfinished manuscript of a long lost novel called Le Chevalier de Saint Hermine, the Last Cavalier, basically, was discovered in I think the National Library in Paris in the late 1980s and was published in 2005. So now I'm kind of curious. I love when people find like unfinished manuscripts from authors. I'm like, I want to know what you were working on. So I think that's interesting. Let's see. So Alexandre Dumas died on December 5th, 1870 in France at his son's home. So it sounds like they stayed pretty close.
Oh,
he was buried in a cemetery. It sounds like near there. But in 2002, his body was moved to the Pantheon in Paris, where Dumas rests among other French literary greats, including rival Victor Hugo. Would have loved to learn more about that rivalry.
Oh, yes.
I know. Émile Zola and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. So,
oh, wow. Yeah. Rousseau.
So that's all I've got on Alexandre Dumas.
I loved it. Yay, Alexandre Dumas.
He's pretty great. I enjoy it. I enjoyed learning about him.
Guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I just really respect the dedication to like what would be awesome, you know, like
I respect the dedication to having a good time. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The Porthos energy is
that's what I was thinking too. The second I saw this picture, I was like, hang on, why do you look like Porthos? And that was before I even read the bio. Then I read the bio and I was like, oh, so you are Porthos. So it's like that thing where like I bet every writer kind of does this. Oscar Wilde did this too. Whether it's the main character or a secondary character, there's a lot of authors who in everything they ever write, there's at least one character that is almost their carbon copy in some way or other. And I feel like
having a good time.
Exactly. I feel like that was Alexandre Dumas with Porthos for sure.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
But anyways, that's what I got on Alexandre
Dumas.
Dumas.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to run through elements of the plot so that we can have something to discuss. Okay, so as we mentioned, the main character in this novel is D'Artagnan.
Really quick. I am usually not a huge fan of French names. I'm in love with the name D'Artagnan, and I wish there was some way that I could get Javi to agree to name our child D'Artagnan.
It's a really, really good name. It's immediately iconic. It's so cool sounding. It's like there's just something about it.
I mean, go with me on this. D'Artagnan Dragon Slayer O'Rourke. I mean, does it get any better?
So cool.
Every time I think really I can't top that name, we come across another name. I'm like, top, amazing, perfect. I feel like he's gonna say no. D'Artagnan Aeschylus Dragon Slayer O'Rourke. I mean, just iconic, amazing.
It's really good. Yeah. I'm with you on that all the way.
Yeah, but he's the main character. He is a hothead, and I did text you. I was like, so I hate D'Artagnan, but
she literally said, she was like, D'Artagnan, but she said something with D'Artagnan, and I was like, yeah, he's insane, right? And she's like, well, I think I'm in love with it.
He's freaking crazy, man. But I was like, I am
So
also in love
funny.
with him, though. He is insane,
Yeah,
but I am in
so
love with him.
jot that down.
Jot that down. I'm in love with
Penchant
D'Artagnan.
to just fight everyone. So
Yes,
yeah,
which is like very much my husband. That's why I was like, this. I feel like Javi at the age of like 19 or 20 was very much a D'Artagnan, which is
ready to
not
go.
just ready to fight over quite literally perceived offenses, but perceived about things that no one in their right mind would ever perceive as an offense. And Javi's still kind of like that. He's like, I can't believe so and so said this. I'm gonna fight them. And I'm like, why?
Like, I don't think they meant it really.
I don't think they meant it in any way, shape, or form in an offensive way. And I'm not sure how in the farthest reaches of the universe you consider that an offensive thing. And he's like, no, I'm gonna fight him. I'm just gonna. Or he'll like, who is it? Aaron Rodgers from the Packers. He's a player. Javi goes, I hate his face. I want to fight him. And I'm like, why?
Face, yeah.
Just his face. He's just apparently he's offended by his. I was like, there's nothing else about him. He's like, no, I can just tell. I hate his face. I'm gonna fight him. And I just that energy.
I get that urge sometimes.
I don't get it at all. I'm like, you have no reason. And he's like, no, just his face. And that's a very D'Artagnan. That's you. I mean, see, this is you being very D'Artagnan-esque as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, but I totally, I see your point for sure. Like, I'm not, when you said I'm in love with him, I wasn't like surprised in any way. I'll say that. But they do definitely just, Alexandre describes him as very much hot. Like, he is extremely hot.
Well, he's like the young stud of the group.
Oh, he is. The fact that he cannot stop mentioning that he's not yet 20, which kind of is ruining my life because I'm like, what do you mean he's like 19? Like, this is like insane.
You know what? I am not yet 26. So is that good enough for you, D'Artagnan? Not yet 26.
Clearly fine with him because he's like Constance, baby.
Ooh, I know. And as soon as he started getting into like, women are hot, I think I'm gonna have a bunch of mistresses. I was like, the illusion is broken. I hate you, D'Artagnan.
Very good. Oh yeah, he really took a downward spiral towards the middle end.
Yeah, this felt very French. And I don't want to be offensive, but it did. And y'all know you have a reputation for it, so don't say you don't.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's
don't
rightful.
pretend like the reputation isn't there.
Yeah, y'all do have that reputation, and we have a reputation for eating way too many cheeseburgers. Okay, we all have one.
It's true. Okay, so just accept it.
Yeah, just accept it.
But yeah, he really D'Artagnan kept he keeps you on your toes. But anyway, so he his dad he's okay, so D'Artagnan is from Gascony, which is a
country boy, which I like.
He's a country boy, but his family is actually nobility, but they just like don't have any money, which is kind of interesting. It's one of those situations. So anyway, his dad used to be best friends with Captain Treville. I'm just gonna say it like that. Sorry, French people. Who
I don't know how you say that.
Trevi. He is the like head of the Musketeers in Paris, basically, and the Musketeers are like the elite guard of like the king kind of situation. And so D'Artagnan gets like sent on his way to Paris to like, you know, start his life basically. And his dad's like, here's a letter.
The first part of the book where he gets the letter from his dad, he goes to Paris to be like give the letter to Treville, and he runs into Porthos, Athos, and Aramis. I felt like even in the Logan Lerman one, all of that felt very accurate to the book, and then we kind of spiraled off after that.
It got a little weird, but basically he gets to Paris, he ends up meeting Porthos, Athos, and Aramis, who are the Three Musketeers, and he proceeds to challenge all of them to a duel.
But just at like 1 o'clock, 1:30, and 2 o'clock, or something stupid like that, which is amazing.
It's really good.
The unearned confidence of that young man. That's also a Javi thing where it's like, why do you think that you could ever do that? And he's like, nah, I got this. And I'm like, in no way in hell do you.
It's the audacity. Like, this man really showed up to Paris with like 12 coins and a dream, and he was like, I am making it work, and I'm going to fight with everybody I meet today, and I'm
so confident that I'm gonna win all of these duels. I'm just gonna schedule them 1 hour apart. And even I love how these like very worldly, seen it all Three Musketeers who are like twice his age are all like, you did what? Even they're like,
they're very much like, this kid, what is going on with this guy? Because Athos, he's like the first one, I think. His seconds, you know, in a duel you have your seconds. are Aramis and Porthos. And so all of
Yep.
them show up and are like, oh my God, I'm supposed to fight this kid too. And then
so
they're like, hey
good.
kid, what's the deal? And then they
And he
get
challenges them to duel over really weird things also.
yeah, it's like they were kind of being rude to him though, I gotta
They
admit.
were. Yeah.
Like he like bumped into Athos, and then like I don't remember what he did to Porthos, but like he
Oh,
missed.
Porthos had some like fake gold shoulder thing, I think. And he
Oh
basically
yeah, he
revealed
like
or said
offended
that it was
him.
fake. And Porthos was like,
Yeah,
how dare you? We
yeah,
will
he
fight in the
wasn't really
square.
proud of his new belt thing. And then Aramis, as far as I could tell, he was Aramis was like, dude, this no homo, but like that's not my handkerchief. Like that's kind of what it felt like.
It really, really is.
And Aramis was like, I mean, D'Artagnan was like,
D'Artagnan.
okay, sorry, just trying to be helpful, but also let's fight. And so
Yeah,
then they
he's like,
decided to
okay,
fight.
that's fine. Let's go. Let's
Well, just
3 o'clock
then.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
To the death, you
So
guys.
to the
Also,
death.
these
This is to the
duels
death. Like we
to the
should.
death for the most minor offenses. And dueling,
Yeah.
I believe, based on the cardinal's decree, isn't it illegal in the city or something at this point?
I'm pretty sure it's not allowed. And so they
Yeah.
show up, but they end up in a like squabble with the cardinal's men. And so Cardinal Richelieu is like kind of the king's like main advisor guy, it seems. And
Even though like they're also kind of rivals.
yeah. And so Richelieu is kind of like the main antagonist in a way, besides Milady, I guess, but he sort of hangs sometimes. It's weird. So Cardinal Richelieu, his like men and the musketeers are always fighting. And so then there's this whole thing where like the Treville tells the king, like, by the way, this is Louis the 13th. So the line of succession, for people who don't know, I find this interesting, but Louis the 13th was the king, and then his son Louis the 14th is known as the Sun King, and he was he's like the longest reigning monarch ever. But
really?
So yes.
How long did he reign?
It's a long time. But it's kind of unfair because he started when he was like a kid. So
oh yeah.
But he was insane. He's the one who moved like the court into Versailles.
Oh,
so
okay.
his whole
That's
thing
him.
was like it was a lot of excess. It was sort of like the beginning of the end for France monarchy. But at the time he was extremely powerful, and like that's why they called him the Sun King. Like he was kind of, he had it all going on. So then after Louis the 14th was Louis the 15th. Don't care about him so much, but his son is Louis the 16th, the one who eventually got beheaded in the French Revolution. So to me, as someone who took a French Revolution class, and don't yell at me, people, this is just my opinion, but Louis the 13th feels very much, as from what I know about him and Louis the 16th feel very much like just kind of guys who probably just shouldn't have been king. Like they seemed all right, like kind of nice, but like no real leadership qualities. Like kind of
they're gonna challenge you to a duel if you're not careful.
Well, it's like if Louis the 13th was king at the time of the French Revolution, like they would have beheaded him immediately. Like he feels like kind of weak, like the same way that Louis the 16th was. Like he's kind of like chilling, kind of just
born into it, enjoying the benefits, offering little practical advantage.
So that's like Alexandre's kind of mean to Louis, though. He's like, this guy has no backbone. But
the portrayal of King Louis and the Queen in the Logan Lerman version, which is just what I call it in my head, is hysterical. By the way,
funny.
The plot around them is very different. I will say that very different from the book, but I like it better in the movie because it's so freaking funny.
It's cute too. I like it way better in the movie.
He is a little prissy baby. He sounds like Louis the 16th. He's like in the
kind of there. Like it's not his fault,
nice,
really.
Not
he was
his
kind
fault.
Of born into it, but
yeah. Like, the Queen has got a little bit more metal to her.
Leading the country.
Yeah, exactly. But I believe in the movie there's this undertone of they're both secretly actually love each other, but neither one wants to like admit it. So they both think that the other one doesn't love each other. Like it's this awkward arranged marriage, but it's not true.
It's cute in the movie.
It's cute in the movie. In the book, it's a lot less cute. So
yeah, it's kind of like y'all don't even really care.
They don't really care. I guess that would be normal for like royal arranged marriages.
Oh yeah, you like never met them before, and it's like I guess we're just in this now.
Yeah.
But so anyway, sorry about my Louis the 13th.
I enjoyed that. I didn't take any French literary classes in college. I took a lot of English, obviously, because my degree was in English literature. I took some world literature classes. I didn't take any French literature classes, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't take any French literature classes, but I did take like French Revolution, and then I took another history
Right, for
class that was
history.
very French like
Interesting.
centric. So
Yeah.
I'm into it, but I don't I honestly after read we read quite a few French books on this podcast. I'm kind of into it. I think they're
Yeah.
fun,
I think they're fun too. It makes me
All of
wish
them
I
have
had learned French so I could
got it
really
going
embarrass
on.
you guys.
Yeah, I know. Let's learn French.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay.
so anyway, blah blah blah. The king is basically like, oh, musketeers. The Treville kind of wins this one.
Yeah.
Treville and Richelieu are always like kind of fighting for the king, basically.
Yeah.
And so the king is like, yay, musketeers, you've done it. You defended me, and
Yeah.
thank you for being cool. And they're like, awesome, we love it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm just gonna kind of skip to like the plot part that
Oh,
comes
go
next
for
that I
it.
can remember. But basically, like D'Artagnan's hanging out with the Musketeers now. They're all best friends. And he essentially he becomes friends with his landlord's wife, who is named Constance. The last name is Bonacieux, I believe.
Bonacieux. Bonacieux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so but he is immediately like, I'm in love with her,
Mm-hmm.
which is silly because they met each other for like one day and he was like, I'm in love with her.
Yeah.
However, I do ship it hardcore because of the Musketeers,
Yep.
the BBC show that I love, that everyone should watch.
I
They
want
are
to watch
so
it.
freaking cute in that show.
I have a hard time because she's
D'Artagnan.
married. I can't accept this. There's this whole, it goes on in the book about how, like, in France and at this time period, it's just normal for, because he literally says, because it's such an immoral period of history, everybody has mistresses and everyone's fine with it. And I'm like, I don't feel like everyone's fine with it. I feel like that's not true.
I don't care about Constance's husband at all, so I'm like, I'm fine with it.
Well, at first I felt bad for him because I thought he had real affection for her and like he was looking for his missing wife. Then I reread the summary to make sure I hadn't missed any big parts, and it said like he was a lot like older, like elderly almost.
He's like 50 something,
Yeah,
and she's
like
24.
25. Yeah, she's 24. Yeah, so very very big age difference. And then reading it like that, it reframed it as like there's it like when he goes to look for her, he says, I'm lucky that my wife actually has affection for me or something, or loves me. No, she doesn't. And she says later in the book that she doesn't. And I'm like, no, I'm not liking him so much because he clearly does not have an accurate opinion. He also ends up kind of being a weasel. So
and he betrays her later.
Yeah. So I get over it.
Well, yeah. I mean, adultery is
but
not
D'Artagnan,
good, but
it's not good. But there's so much that's not good that's happening in these family
it's like,
units.
This is the least of
the least of my concerns.
About, really.
I am concerned about D'Artagnan's immediate I'm in love with you after half a conversation, maybe. And he's like, it's like he decides because like the Musketeers have mistresses. He's like, now I'm getting a mistress. I'm gonna pick this one because she's here.
I have to get one too. I was cracking up. I was like, D'Artagnan. Well, because it kind of works. Like, okay, basically the plot though that's happening is that the Queen and the Duke of Buckingham from England, which, by the way, this is another thing I have to mention. This is hilarious to me because this is another of the Alexandre things where he's like, I don't care about accuracy, because the Duke of Buckingham was almost certainly gay. There is no way he was in love with no way he was in love with Queen Anne.
That is super funny.
So
I didn't even think about it being a real person. This felt so not historically accurate that I wasn't even thinking of it as historical fiction.
So basically, King James, yes, the Bible King James one, he was gay. So he it is heavily believed that James the First and the Duke of Buckingham were like lovers. He had like a secret passage constructed so that they could like meet up. Like,
oh my god,
this is a whole thing. It's like not even.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
Alexander, do your research, bro.
I guess did not realize that. So, but basically,
the Duke of funny.
Is like in love with Queen Anne, who is Louis the 13th's wife. And so they kind of have like this weird rapport thing, but she's being like, you know, all coy about it because she's like, I am married and whatever, but she's clearly into him.
Yeah.
So Constance who is D'Artagnan's landlord's wife, is
Uh-huh.
the
And pseudo mistress
yeah,
ish.
is Anne's like lady in waiting, basically. So she like
Mhm.
helps Anne arrange like secret meetings with Buckingham a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the cardinal though kind of finds out, and he wants to start some shit. And so he um finds out that like the Buckingham has this is it a necklace or
I
what
don't
is
know
it?
what it is. It's
It's
diamond
jewels.
tags. I don't know what that means,
Yeah.
but there's 12 diamond tags, whatever that
Uh-huh.
means. That was a gift from Anne from King Louis. And
Yes.
yeah.
And so the cardinal finds out that Buckingham has it. So he's like kind of plants the idea that like basically like he's trying to cause division between Anne and Louis, which is
Yeah.
valid. I mean, it
Because
is.
he was hitting on Anne and Anne rejected him.
It's
And he
like
was like, fine, bitch, I'm going to get revenge on you for not liking me back, which
yeah,
is still the approach that we see with
it's
men. And what the
messed up.
hell? Get it together, guys. Oh
Get
my
it
God.
together. So yeah, the cardinal and Anne are like enemies now.
Yeah, I would be
Anyway, there's
too.
this whole plot, but they know that if there's like drama, like this could be a war between England and France also. Like
Yeah.
it's a big deal. So basically Constance finds out about all of this and is like D'Artagnan gets roped into helping.
Yeah.
And but also Constance like gets kidnapped for a bit, and that's when he's
Then
like
he
finding her.
finds her,
Anyway,
and then she's
it's
got
a
to go
whole
to
thing.
some secret meeting. And I just, because I was listening to the audiobook and I was listening to it at at two speed at this point because I increased it eventually to 2.8 speed because you have to increase it gradually to try and when you're
I don't think I've
increasing
done
speed.
2.8 speed since the Tiger's Curse. I'm gonna be real. That's pretty high for me.
You inspired me with it. I remember I was literally thinking of Tiger's Curse and how you got through Tiger's Curse, which is a much easier read hypothetically than this
It
one
is. I
should
have
be.
less time though.
Yeah, but anyways, so he's like escorting her to like the door of this place where she has some secret meeting, and she's at 2.0 speed, so twice the speed of the normal narration. It took what felt like a minimum of 10 minutes for her to get him to go away, which was
Yeah.
like he's like, I love you, and she's like, that's very sweet of you. I have to go to this thing now and you cannot come with me, so I just need you to get right out of here. And he's like, but how will I know that I will not see you again? And all this like, tell me that you love me and tell me that you will be my mistress type of things. And I you know, all this like basically he just won't. I'm like, it's like when you're trying to end a conversation and somebody just won't let you. That is happening for like minimum of 10 minutes at 2.0 speed of the audio narration.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It's insane. I'm like, Constance is never gonna love you now, D'Artagnan, because you're being a freaking annoying. Like, you're being such a prick, right?
So
Just go away. She's trying
yeah.
to end the conversation. She even says, he says something else at the end that like basically restarts the conversation when he's about to leave. She goes, you're restarting the conversation, dude. Get out of here. Like literally says almost that.
Yeah, but she's like kind of into it though, is the thing. Like she ends up being into it, which is
Yeah, she
wild.
does.
But I guess
That's
it's gonna
so
be
weird
so
to
hot.
me.
There's
Like Alexandre Dumas did this, whereas like the Duke of Buckingham did it with Anne too, where he just kept being really, really persistent, and Anne didn't seem in any way into it, and then it turns out she was. And the same
yeah,
thing with
it's like
Constance, and I'm like, I don't really. I feel like Alexander didn't have a lot of true success with women because none of this is accurate to how women feel.
oh
I would
god.
agree with the rudimentary psychology note on this.
It's very true. Yeah. It's like, I don't think this is
None of
actually
the
how this works,
romances.
but
This is not a book to go to for realistic
it's
romances.
no. Go to the
No.
Musketeers, the BBC show. This is me
Or
plugging
the
the
Logan
Musketeers.
Lerman one, but do not go to the actual book, The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, because it is not, those romances make zero sense.
Yeah. But our boy, it's just so funny. Like D'Artagnan ends up pulling this older woman who is married and his landlord just by like being insane. Like I
Yeah.
can't believe that really worked. You know, it's
That's what
so
I'm
funny.
saying. It shouldn't. And the Duke of Buckingham, too, was just like kind of being insane. I'm like, this is working? It shouldn't be.
Kind of insane. Yeah, it should not have worked.
Yeah,
So
but he does, though. Yeah.
yeah, so then this is kind of the plot of the Logan Lerman movie. This whole
Yes.
part of it is
Which was
that
my
now
favorite part of the book,
it's like a
also.
good part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they have, you're like, oh, now we're getting some plot. Let's go. So basically, D'Artagnan is like, all right, I'm assembling the musketeers. At this point, let's keep in mind, D'Artagnan is not a musketeer. He's literally just vibing. Like, I can't believe
Yeah.
he's staying in Paris just
He's
hanging
like
out.
kind of in training. He's kind of besties with the Three Musketeers, but he's not. And he's actually a guardsman. He actually gets hired. He gets forced to work as a guardsman, which is the enemy of the Musketeers. But he goes on with the Musketeers when they go on their rounds, and then the Three Musketeers that are his besties go with him on his rounds as a guardsman. But he is not a Musketeer yet.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So he and the Musketeers kind of organize like this mission basically to retrieve the jewels from Buckingham and like make it so that it seems like, oh, the queen was never cheating on Louis because like
because
they
the
know
cardinal
about this plan.
tells Louis, I don't know if we fully said the plan. This tells Louis that Louis should throw a ball and ask his wife to wear the jewels that he gave her, the diamonds, and basically implies that if she doesn't have them, she's been cheating on you. He just kind of implies that, and Louis is like, "Oh, I don't think so." And then he's like, "Hey, Anne, I'm throwing a ball for you. Won't that be fun? Make sure you wear those diamonds. I got you." And she's like, "Oh, F my life." And so then she confides in Constance, and Constance tells D'Artagnan, "Hey, I need you to go get those jewels back from England."
Yeah. Hey, babe, I need you to go on a cross-country trip for me. Thanks. International trip.
And you have like 2 days.
So it's a whole thing. So they go and do it. D'Artagnan ends up, there's like, swashbuckling adventure and all that. D'Artagnan meets up with the Duke of Buckingham, who is actually being very chill about it. He was very kind. And he was like, oh, okay, no biggie. I'm just gonna like stop all traffic. Somehow he has the power to make it so that no boats leave England. And he's like, amazing. So that way nobody will know and all that, and you guys can just go ahead and do it. And so he's like, okay, awesome. But 2 of the stones are missing. The car, because he had been at a ball, and Milady de Winter, who we have sort of met before, but she hasn't really featured prominently yet.
The spy, and the cardinal uses her a lot for her spy purposes.
And so she stole like 2 of the diamonds from Buckingham, who was wearing them. And so he's like, they're not like full, but I'll have my guy like see what he can do. And so Buckingham's guy, like jewelry guy, like fixes them. And then D'Artagnan brings them back, and he gets them back to the queen in time. And so then Louis is like, oh, the cardinal still tries to play a little trick though. He's like, oh, are all of them there? Because somehow Milady got to him before the like the ships got all stopped. And so his plan should have worked, except for Buckingham's guy did such a bang up job that everyone's like, what? It's all the same. And so Louis like, oh, Cardinal, you're so silly. And Cardinal's like, oh, that was my roundabout way of giving you jewels. And so got foiled. So anyway, they saved France. But there's still some drama because like the shipping thing kind of messed everyone up. So now it's like France and England are kind of on the verge of war still. Anyway, so then there is this whole part where oh my god, why am I now that I'm done with that part, I'm like, what happens next?
This dog just yawned. Literally, she just yawned with my face in her mouth when she closed on my face.
She was like, I'm done with Three Musketeers.
I know, same girl, same.
So wait, literally what happens next? I'm sorry. There's lots of like little things that happen.
That was like the first plot, the exciting one. And then the second one, there's this whole intrigue. It's mostly about Milady, who basically has just been going around like marrying dudes to use them. And so she's been committing bigamy. And so they get her brother-in-law to essentially kidnap her and hold her hostage. But she's like so like seductive that she seduces this like super religious dude to get him to escape, and then tells him that he needs to go, what is it? Kill the Duke. Correct? Is that correct?
Well, I think this is actually after she and D'Artagnan had like a tryst.
Oh, yes, they had a tryst.
I forgot. Constance gets kidnapped again.
Yep.
And so D'Artagnan's freaking the F out. He ends up running into Athos, and D'Artagnan's trying to like figure out where Constance is. He can't find her. There's all of this stuff. They basically are like, okay, we think like the cardinal kidnapped her or something. He runs into Athos, who drunkenly tells him a story about how somebody he knows, a friend of his, quote unquote, clearly Athos himself, was married to this girl years ago, who he found out she was a criminal because she has like a fleur-de-lis,
criminal's like branded
on her. And he found out that she was a criminal and was like using him for his money, so he hung her.
Which feels excessive. I was like, I kind of see why Milady's like, I don't care if I kill a bunch of men. I'm like, I kind of wouldn't either if I were you.
Honestly, who can blame her? Like, this is effed up. And D'Artagnan is so like, oh my god, I do not want to know this, that he just pretends to be asleep so he doesn't have to deal with it anymore. And then they wake up the next day and Athos is like, hey bud, and D'Artagnan's like, oh hey, we all said a lot of things last night, let's just like not talk about it again. And Athos is like, awesome, I love this plan. So they just pretend like Athos didn't confess to murder, because D'Artagnan and Athos are like best friends. Aramis and Porthos seem like best friends, and then D'Artagnan and Athos are like best friends.
Yeah, it's true.
And so then they kind of get everyone back, and D'Artagnan ends up, while he's like at church with Porthos is like trying to get his like lady love back in his good graces, and she's like this married woman who he uses for money. And so D'Artagnan, though, he at church, Milady had been at church and he'd seen her before, and he didn't know who she was though, really. And so he follows her out, and he's like kind of smitten, even though he's looking for Constance, who is still kidnapped.
I'm like, how many mistresses do you think you can juggle, 19-year-old D'Artagnan?
Yeah, he is 19. Like, let's this is insanity.
How old is Milady? She's got to be like close to 30, right? At least.
Oh, for sure, because she's 10 years younger than Athos, who's like, well, he's in his 30s.
40.
So she's.
Well, they said that the Musketeers are twice his age, so they've got to be about 40.
Well, Athos is, but here's another thing that freaked me out. At the beginning of the book, they said Aramis is like 22. And I was hating that.
No, he's not.
That's what they said.
No, absolutely not. Alexandre Dumas, you were wrong when you wrote that. He's not.
Like, Aramis is not 22.
They literally say that the Three Musketeers are twice his age. He literally said that in the book. Alexander, get your story straight.
Anyway, it's a mess, but unless I misheard, but I was so upset that I rewound it.
No, I believe you. I'm just upset with Alexander about this choice.
I don't know why it really bothered me.
It bothers me too.
So yeah, I guess we can really talk about their personalities. It's already an hour and 11 minutes in here. No, sorry, everyone.
Who cares? Although there's a big chunk of the first part of the book that is just describing one by one their personalities. About their
personalities. Athos is like the stoic, like cool one, and he's kind of like the leader, I guess.
Yeah, but if you had to pick one,
like never has a girlfriend. I wonder why. And he's kind of like never laughs, but he'll smile, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Aramis is like the lover of the group, and he's also very kind of religious, and
also super religious. He's like trying to like take religious orders until like as soon as he can.
Church.
Yeah, he like doesn't want to be a musketeer. Yeah, exactly.
But he's so like a huge slut, though.
He is.
Aramis is very fascinating. Funny. I love him. And then
he is
Porthos is like the fun one. He's like huge, brawny, like he'll fight anyone. But he like loves
to have a good time.
Like, eating, like great fun guy.
Yeah. He's a bit of the Alexandre Dumas of the group.
Yes. So anyway, that's the Three Musketeers.
The Inseparables, as they're called. They're not even called the Three Musketeers in the book. They are called the Inseparables or something. The Inseparables.
It's so cute. They're all best friends.
Yeah, it's very cute.
And so anyway, back to the plot, which is lengthy. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, D'Artagnan ends up like hanging out with Milady a lot, and he's like, I'm trying to find out information because I think she has something to do with Constance getting kidnapped. And we already have found out at this point that Constance's husband helped kidnap her.
Yes. She's also got a maid named Kitty, who is deeply in love with D'Artagnan.
Yes, Kitty's in love with D'Artagnan. D'Artagnan is kind of getting into Milady, but and then Kitty and D'Artagnan end up sleeping together because he's like, I need information. Like, what kind of a bitch move is that? I'm so sorry.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm like, early D'Artagnan, I had a crush on.
Yeah,
later D'Artagnan, I'm like, you absolute prick. What is wrong with you?
I was pissed off because then he also, even after finding out Milady is evil, has sex with Milady too.
Yep. And he tricks her, by the way. So it's even worse.
It's worse.
It's like dark, and he pretends to be Lord who? De Winter? No.
The Comte something.
Yeah, some kind of
It's like a
count.
guy
I
that
forget.
Milady's into. Which
Yeah, I
also,
forget.
that is, I don't want to, that's not good. You should not do that.
That's
That's
very
bad.
bad. It's
That's
very, very
actually
bad.
really bad.
It's actually very bad. And so later he ends up seducing her as himself D'Artagnan, and they sleep together. And he's like, this isn't actually the first time we've slept together, because she's like, wow, you are so good at sex. That's amazing. And he's like, well, it's because it's not the first time we've been together. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, so when you thought you were with the count, it was actually me. And she's like, I'm going to actually murder you. And
Like,
she tries to murder him.
what the hell? Yeah. And so then it's just her trying to murder him. And I'm like, I
Yep.
kind of don't blame her. Like,
I don't blame her at all.
Too.
I'm like, I wish your aim was better. He should be dead now.
This was also, he could quote find Constance, and I'm like,
Bullshit.
You've lost the plot, D'Artagnan. You have lost the plot.
Maybe Alexander lost the plot. I don't know.
Yeah, Alexander lost the plot. So, and then also, we as the reader, do we know yet? Maybe I just knew because I can't remember. But anyway, he then finds out that Milady is Athos's ex-wife, who he tried to kill.
Yep.
So it's even more twisted, because now Athos, his best friend, he has slept with Athos's dead wife, or presumed dead
wife. Yeah.
And
both pretending to be someone else and as himself, and has now almost been murdered by her, which I wish she had been successful. Not because she's a good person, because she's also pretty messed up.
She's a bad person too, but like,
yeah, but he deserved a lot more comeuppance than he got.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, I'm supposed to still be rooting for you, D'Artagnan.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm mad at you.
Like, I should clarify, I was in love with D'Artagnan for the first part of the book, the whole plot with the jewels. That was great. It was very fun.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh god, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, he's great. He's a prick. So
yeah, great. He's a prick.
They're all just screwing around. And they're like, oh, we still have to find Constance. But then there's like this whole battle. Like, there's all this stuff going on because England and France are mad now. Milady gets kidnapped by her brother-in-law, which she's mentioned, and then murders the Duke of Buckingham while she's escaping
via the super religious guy that she totally tricked. By the way, when you read about how she like tricks and seduces men, you're like, this is a Black Widow right here. Like, this is the cream of the crop Black Widows. Like, she knows exactly how to manipulate every single man on an individual level. And I think that's interesting. I know that she's a bad person, but I'm like, she might be the most powerful female character in her own right that I've ever read in classic literature.
She's like so awesome, honestly.
She really is.
She's like straight badass.
She is straight up. She knows exactly.
I'm like
if she's gonna act timid or confident or whatever, or religious, like, she knows, and she can act it so authentically. This is how she gets men. It's not just because she's sexy. I really like this too. And I'm impressed that Alexandre Dumas wrote this for how, cheap it felt like and unrealistic the other romances were. He did not write a woman who was powerful because she's just all around seductive. She like specifically would understand the psyche of each of her targets and then completely change herself to suit them, whether it was like romantic or in another way, then to earn their trust. Like, that was impressive. I was like, you are an impressive lady.
She's a master of her craft. She really is.
Yeah.
I think she's very fun as a character. Like, she's unexpected too, because
she's impressive.
Kind of like
she
the
main
villain too as a woman. She is.
Well, at first it's like in part 1 it's the cardinal, and then part 2 she's kind of the main villain, but we switched. And then I am so impressed by her, but I'd be so scared to be her friend as another woman though, because I'd be like, you'd never ever know when she was lying to you. Ever.
I would not
so convincing.
Be her friend. And I am mad at her for the things she did, the crimes she committed.
Yeah,
you have to respect her a little bit.
I respect her a lot, but I wouldn't trust her at all.
No,
I mean, but that's the thing is, I'm like, what if she could convince me to trust her? Because that's her whole thing. Is she's so good at that. I'm like, that's terrifying.
Yep,
gosh, she's scary. She's really scary. I like her so much. Scary.
Yeah, love her.
Yep. Well, God, we love her. She's terrifying.
She's horrible. We love her.
Love her.
So then this is the part that I hate. She comes back. The Musketeers have found out that Constance is being kept at this monastery or convent.
Yeah.
So Milady comes back and she ends up at the same convent, and she realizes that Constance like knows D'Artagnan. It's like something like that. So, and she's been trying to kill D'Artagnan forever because she's still pissed at him. And
I would be too. That feels valid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But this is the part that I cannot forgive her for. She poisons Constance and kills her. And the Musketeers get there like right before she dies.
Yep.
And Constance dies, and they're like, great, awesome. And I'm like, are
Horrible.
you freaking kidding me? Did
It's
Constance have to
horrible.
die? Did she
No, she
have to
didn't.
die?
This is what I'm saying about Milady is like you could never be her, but she's not even someone who's like girl power. I only kill
No,
dudes who are chauvinistic assholes. She's
she'll
like,
do
I will kill
anything.
anyone in my way.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
woman, doesn't matter. I am here for my own interests at all times.
Yep.
She's terrifying, like legitimately for that reason. Not like
Oh,
in like
she
I
is.
would so love to be friends with her way.
Oh
Like
no.
there are some man killers in books. I'm like, I could be friends with you. We could be friends, you know? I would not ever be one of your targets, so I know I
No,
could trust
yeah,
you.
like I'd be safe, but no, you wouldn't be safe. She would
No,
get you.
no one is safe with Milady. But and Milady, how cool is it? This book felt so modern in the way it was written too. Like it just like in like the way that he introduced the characters and how
Yeah.
like kind of silly some of them were, the way the action, it was very action packed.
It's an action book, really
It
it is.
is.
And the
It was
characters are
amazing.
very fun. I think because like you said earlier, like he doesn't get too psychological with them most of the time. But
Yeah.
it's kind of just this is an action adventure book, basically.
Yeah.
And so like the characters can be a bit one-dimensional, but like I don't have a problem with it. I think that that's
No.
the point.
It was so fun. I don't care.
Yeah,
If
and
I
so
was
like they're
like
all
someone just like I like a little like Victorian girl just like hanging out, like waiting for like the next big piece of fiction to come out in the time when this was published, I would have been
Mhm.
obsessed with
You
this
would have been
book.
all over this.
I would have
Absolutely.
read it 100 million times and I would have only talked about this book and nothing else forever.
I mean, it's very fun. Like there's a lot
It
going on.
is. Even for a really
And
long book, I was like, I do want to hear it. I didn't hit any points where I was like, just fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. I was like,
no,
this
like
is really good and really fun. It's just
it is
long.
all fun. It's just very long, yeah. So then just skipping to the end basically.
Might as well.
They catch Milady and they try her, quote, for her crimes, which just
Yeah.
basically means we get to murder you. And
Yeah.
so they cut off her head
It's
and
pretty rough.
throw her in the river. And so Milady's dead. I was
Yep.
pissed off about that.
Yeah,
And
it's rough.
then the ending kind of sucks, to be honest.
It
They're
does
like,
suck.
okay, D'Artagnan gets to be a lieutenant of the Musketeers,
Hmm.
but Athos, Porthos, and Aramis end up kind of leaving the Musketeers and they never really hang out again.
It's
And I was
really
like,
sad.
are you
Also,
kidding me?
the cardinal is kind of just like kind of forgiven-ish in this part because they're like, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I did use Milady's spy services, but I didn't realize she had all those other crimes. Wow, she's way worse than I thought she was. So my bad, guys. And they're like, it's all good. We're cool, my guy.
Yeah,
And
like
I'm like,
what?
you are not cool, Cardinal. You pulled some
We're
stupid
not
shit
cool.
earlier. Like just specifically because a woman didn't like you back, which is particularly unforgivable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're not cool, dude. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Milady
ending
gets
was weird.
beheaded, but you're fine. Like, what is this?
It kind of
That's
felt like the
sick.
ending, he wrapped it up because he was like, I have to wrap it up. It's just going to get longer and longer and longer if I don't find a way to wrap it up.
Alexandre was like, I could just keep going, really, but
Yeah, exactly. But the publisher said I needed to wrap it up. That's what it felt like.
yeah, it did. And it's kind of abruptly. So then, like, that's it. And
Yep.
I was like, I think the sequel. I think there's a couple sequels where like you get more about D'Artagnan and the
Hmm.
Musketeers, but like I'm here for all for one for all, like the Three
Yeah.
Musketeers and D'Artagnan. Like
Which
that's what
that
I want.
line, it's not actually in it, is it?
They do say it once.
Oh, did
They say it
they?
at the beginning,
I
and
kept listening
they're
for
like,
it.
"Isn't that our motto?" And then
Oh, I
they
missed
like
it.
hardly ever say it again. Yeah,
Dang it. I missed it. I
but
was like, it's got to be in here.
it's got to be in here. Yeah, you
Yeah,
think?
but it ended so abruptly that when it ended, I was like, did I miss something? And I like reversed and listened to the last two chapters again. And I was like,
That's
no,
it.
that's it. So
Yeah,
weird.
kind of a sucky ending, but I think it
Yeah,
had a really strong start. Honestly, I think the
I
beginning
agree.
is awesome. Like, I was really
The first part is so good. I'm like, I'm gonna go watch the Logan Lerman movie now.
yes,
Like, because it's basically that plot plus a little bit of steampunk, but it's
uh-huh.
essentially the same big plot points. The
Yeah,
second half, I just didn't care about. It got sad and scary, and Milady
it
is so
did.
intense, and she's cool and badass, but like her ending was a bummer too. Like,
Oh my god! And if you watch the Musketeers, like it was fun for me as somebody who loved that show. Um, there's like a lot of plot elements that they take from the book that I didn't
uh-huh.
realize were from the book that they like put in the show, because clearly it's a
Ooh.
like 3-season TV show. They make up a lot of shit,
Yeah.
but a lot of it I was surprised by how much I was like, oh, that's in the book. I didn't realize, like Aramis becoming like joining the priesthood, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then like random stuff with like Milady and random stuff with Porthos. Like it was like, oh, that's from the book. But
Oh, that's fun. I like that. Good
but
job,
like
BBC.
the show has a better ending. I'm gonna say that.
Not hard though. This ending was a huge bummer.
Yeah. And Constance doesn't effing die in the show, so that's good.
Which was horrible. Whatever. Ugh.
Yeah, I was
I'm
pissed
like,
off.
aside from like entertaining D'Artagnan's advances while she was married, Constance didn't do anything wrong. And even with that, she did the least wrong of all of the characters.
Oh my
I'm like,
god. She
such
was
a
very
bummer.
It was such a bummer. She did not deserve it.
No, she
Um,
didn't.
but yeah, anyway,
That's the Three
that was the
Musketeers,
Three
or
Musketeers.
the Three Musky Boys, as I like to
The
call
Three
them.
Musky Boys.
There's the Three Musky Boys plus D'Artagnan, who is also musky and a bit of a hothead.
Absolutely.
It really feels like the book should have been called The Three Musketeers plus D'Artagnan, plus that country
Yeah,
boy.
that little Gascon.
The Three Musketeers and the audacity of the Gascon.
The audacity. Where did my notebook go? Sorry. I'm like,
Oh, you're good. You're good. While you're looking for it, what was your first impression of this book?
Oh God. Well, that's hard to answer too, because this one is also one that's like so in our culture, like everyone knows about
Yes.
it. So
Yeah.
I have actually seen a lot of I really like the Musketeers as like a concept. So
Uh-huh.
I'd seen like
No kidding. I'm not
no
surprised
kidding.
me knowing
Who would
you.
have thought? Well, I guess like my first I watched the Disney Three Musketeers a lot when I was younger.
Did
It's
you?
like
I've only
Mickey,
ever seen
Donald, and
part of it.
Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cute, actually. It's surprisingly funny.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my first, I guess. But then I watched the Logan Lerman one. I don't know.
And it
I
was
guess
amazing.
my first impression was, why are there four of them? You know,
Yes,
that
that was
always was
also my
confusing.
first impression. That,
But
and then when it came to the book, wow, this book is so much thicker than I thought it was going to be.
yeah, when it
Those
came
were
to
pretty
the
much
book,
my two.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel bad about saying this, but I kind of thought, because I like the movie and TV show versions so much,
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting the book to be like maybe bad. not
Uh-huh.
maybe
Well, they
not
can't
bad, but
all
like
be
I didn't
good.
think, yeah, because I think I was coming from a Treasure Island standpoint, where I was
Yeah,
like, I
yeah, yeah.
love Treasure Island media so much, the book
Yeah, and the book
can't
was
be as good,
yeah.
and it's not. But I think that this book is actually good. Like when I was reading it at the beginning,
It
I was
is
like,
really good.
this is actually awesome.
It's an awesome book. I'm in
I'm
shock
sorry
also.
I did not appreciate you, Dumas. Although
I
because
know.
I'd heard that the Count of Monte Cristo movie is better than the book. So I think that's also what was
Interesting.
going on in my head.
Yeah. No, that makes
But
sense.
yeah, I guess that was my first impression of the book. But it worked out. Sorry, I think I might have flashed my boobs at all. I was like looking for
I did. I was like, ooh, look, Ruby.
I was looking for my notebook. Don't look at my boobs. Okay.
I'm looking directly at them and it's great.
No.
Oh no, put the camera back up. Oh good. Oh look, you're making Ruby cry.
Zoom.
That was Ruby. Ruby's like, I just want to look at your boobs. I
I just want to
know.
look at your boobs, please. But yeah,
D'Artagnan at Constance.
oh God, that's really good.
Yeah, I thought so.
I cannot for the life of me find this damn notebook.
I'm
I
so
am
sorry.
so serious. Like,
What did it have your favorite quote or something?
But it did, but I can find it again.
Okay. Also,
anyway.
Maddie called while we were recording. I'm supposed to give her a shout out. Maddie, hi,
Maddie.
what up? Sometimes she calls my sister while we're recording. She hates when I don't give her a shout out.
Yeah.
Well, what was your favorite and least favorite parts of this book?
My least favorite part is when Constance dies. My favorite part is the whole adventure with the diamonds.
I agree. Favorite part, totally agree, is the part with the diamonds and like the big reveal when they're like, oh, she does have the diamonds, and Cardinal's like, what the F, my man. I loved that. Least favorite part is probably a tie for when Constance dies and then when D'Artagnan sleeps with Milady pretending to be someone else. That's so effed up. Hated it.
Uncalled for, really. Like,
so
I want to like
uncalled
D'Artagnan. His name is D'Artagnan. Like, don't do this to me, you know?
Yeah. Yep, 100%.
No, I'm with you on that.
What about favorite and least favorite characters?
My favorite character is Aramis. I love him.
Strong.
I feel like out of the Musketeers, he does the least things wrong. And
that's fair.
Also, I like that he's kind of like where, like He's very weird to me. I'm like, I don't know that I completely get you, but I think that's your appeal, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
He's almost like I'm kind of shy. I'm like the shy, like
I'm the
hot
shy,
musketeer,
sensitive one,
the
you know?
sensitive one, but he also has like he's like kind of a slut, and he's also
Yeah,
like, I'm joining the
100%.
priesthood. And you're like, okay,
I'm
what?
like,
I don't
that's
all
unexpected.
of this doesn't really make sense, but I like it for
No,
you.
it doesn't add up, but I'm enjoying it anyways.
Exactly.
100%.
That's why I like him.
I
And
agree.
then my least favorite character, we didn't even mention Rochefort, but I don't really hate him. I think he's kind of fun.
I
Um,
already forgot who he is.
he's like the guy who also works with the Cardinal and Milady, but he
Oh, yeah, yeah,
keeps
yeah,
like
yeah.
showing up. Anyway, least favorite, I don't even know. Because I kind of like Milady, even though she's
I
evil,
know.
you
I'm
know.
like, can my favorite and least favorite both be Milady?
Yeah.
I think it might
I
be.
I guess least favorite maybe the Cardinal, but I don't really hate him. Like he's just
Mm-mm.
kind of there. I think
Yeah,
all the characters are fun. That's
there
why
are
I
fun.
it's
Even
hard
the
to
ones that
pick.
aren't realistic are still fun. Like, I
Yeah.
think favorite is D'Artagnan and Milady both, and then
Hmm.
least favorite is Milady. Also, she won both categories for me.
She's complex. I really
She
like
is.
that. She's
I
probably the
liked
most
it.
complex character in the whole book, really.
I think she is. I think she's the most realistically complex character too, because all the other ones I'm
Yeah.
like fun, not realistic, but very fun, which is very Alexandre Dumas of him to do that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
she really has like the most, but if you consider her backstory and like all of her motives, like there's a lot going
There's a
on with
lot
her.
going on in her. I want just a book about Milady's life,
Me
and I think that'd be
too.
amazing of all the
They should.
characters. I think you
Is
were
there a
saying you wanted more
Milady book?
Treville, but I really want more
I
Milady.
do. Yeah, I would read a Treville like prequel book. I
Yeah.
would.
But also to have the kind of like persona where you can go by the name Milady as your name, how great is that? That's
Milady de
awesome.
Winter. That's
Yeah, Milady
incredible.
de Winter. And it's
Like, shut up.
Milady, Milady, if anyone is curious.
It's
That's so
insanity.
cool.
It's
I
so
thought that
good.
that was like made up for the Logan Lerman
I know.
movie, but it's not. It really is that cool.
It's so
I love
good.
it
Oh
so
my
much.
God.
What did we, dare I say, learn from this book?
I don't know.
One for all and all for one. What's it? Together we stand, united we fall, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole
Whatever
thing,
that one
that's
is.
good.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that's good. Yeah,
Um,
sure, sure.
we learned
The
that
don't
it's
give
good
in to
to
the young
have a
hothead. Sorry, continue. I
say
just
what you say yours.
don't give in to the young hothead. I know he seems
No.
hot and it's his energy is really fun, but listen, he's not trustworthy.
I mean,
He's
you're
not.
gonna have to bleep this, but he's a fuck boy. Like, let's be real. Like,
He is. He is
he's a fuck boy.
100%. He's a fuckboy. 100%. So,
He's hot and he knows it. That's the annoying part.
yeah, I hate that for
Also,
him
like
and for
he's
me.
been given too much power at 19. I'm gonna say it. Like
It's true.
these older men are like, you are so good at fighting, dude. And he's like, wow, I'm the coolest guy in Paris right
Yeah, and
now.
he already went. He wasn't someone who like needed a self-esteem boost. Like he showed
No.
up thinking he was great and they were like, "You're even greater than you think you are." And he's like, "You're right, I am." Which
If
is horrible.
anything, he needed to be taken down a few pegs.
At least a few pegs, but it didn't happen. Everything really just was turning up D'Artagnan this whole book.
Yeah, even when it shouldn't have.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Sorry, but you were saying.
I don't remember.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Mine was just based on, I feel like we all know, but Alexander was like, what if that's actually really attractive? It's not. Confused why Alexander thought it was. It's not attractive. Mm-mm. When someone's trying to end the conversation, Lord, please let them end the conversation.
Just, yeah, like
Just
it's so
walk
much
away.
sexier to be like, okay, see you later.
Yeah,
Maybe like
100%.
that would have gotten me. Like his like insistence would have annoyed me, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like these boys come across as now people would call it desperate. I just call it being entitled and annoying and persistent.
Yes.
That's not attractive, you guys. Like if
No.
no means no. And okay, yeah, that's nice. Maybe another time. That also means no. Don't act stupid like you don't know what
Yeah,
it
you
means.
know what she
You know
meant.
what it means.
Unfortunately, Alexandra was like, nah, she meant yes.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I
Women are
perceive that
so
ladies of this time
Oh,
have a
God.
habit of saying no when they mean yes. So I will ask again. This is some Mr. Collins shit. We should be over
Collins
this.
shit.
Yep.
So true.
Yep. But Alexander was like, no, the ladies like it. Take my word for it. I'm not gonna. Sorry, Alex. I mean, we could be friends, but I'm not taking your word for that as a woman.
I like how you called him Alex.
Alex. What up, Alex?
Alex, my boy. What's up, dude?
I
will
party
say
at
this.
Alex's house.
Party at Alex's house.
Woo!
For anybody who also enjoys the Musketeers, is Porthos not the hottest Musketeer in that damn show?
I think he is. He is.
I
not from the
was
show
thinking about
specifically.
it.
I was just thinking personality.
Just in general.
In general.
I think he is like, he's the most fun. Like he probably is the hottest. They say multiple times he's hot.
Who's the guy from Frozen that I was talking about? Oaken. He has Oaken meets D'Artagnan vibes.
Oh my God.
And I'm here for it. I'm 100% here for it.
Yeah.
He's probably also like the most like emotionally stable of the Musketeers, which is weird.
Exactly. Emily. Okay, so Emily and I watched all the Musketeers when I was like a senior in college, and we would just watch it like obsessively. Like we were so into it, and we maintain Porthos is the most marriable. Like you want him to be your husband.
Yeah,
out of all of them.
Yeah, like if you had to
Aramis
pick one for a husband,
but Porthos
is the best husband. Yeah, D'Artagnan is not.
No,
it's like if D'Artagnan were to grow up, get a little more worldly and also a little more mature, he could be somewhat like Porthos. You hope, you know. He could go one of two ways.
Here's hoping. Yeah.
He could turn out more like Aramis minus the religion, or more like Porthos. And I'm certainly hoping he goes more Porthos.
But see, he idolizes Athos the most. And I was pissed off at Athos in this book. Athos was always like one of my faves. And now I'm like, what the in the book he sucks.
He does suck. I know. I kept going, where's the cool one? I remember one of them being really
You're
cool.
supposed to be the cool one. Instead, he's like getting drunk and being like, remember how I murdered my wife? I'm like, okay, nobody wants to talk about that. My wife. I murdered my wife.
Oh, God. Anyways, what about favorite quotes?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, there's actually a lot of really good quotes.
There are a lot of
some of it was really funny.
Ones.
I will say that.
Yeah, it's true.
I just thought this was a good quote. We must never expect discretion in first love. It is accompanied by such excessive joy that unless the joy is allowed to overflow, it will choke you. I thought that was sweet.
That's a good one. I remember that one too. There are a lot of great quotes in this. My favorite one, and I don't even remember who said it, is I'm sure you're very nice, but you'd be even nicer if you went away. And that's how I feel about most people.
Yeah, really good. That's really
so good.
There were a couple of lines that reminded me of that. Like they were like, that's awesome. Get the hell away.
Get the hell out of my way. Yeah, it's so cheeky and sarcastic, but not like as dry as some classic literature humor is. This is why I'm saying, like, aside from the length, this didn't super feel like a classic. It just felt like really fun and exciting and zany.
It's very readable. It's like really not the language.
It's not hard to read. No. It just the length is difficult. The language is not hard at all, which was refreshing. I was scared when I saw the length. I was like, oh, and it was French. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. This is gonna be like Les Mis. This is gonna be so hard, or like The Hunchback, which was really hard. No, it's not like that at all.
It's not, because it's fun. It's mostly just for fun, I think, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm here for it. I don't care. I don't want to learn anything.
We're not even learning history. Time. This is not accurate.
Because in reality, the Duke of what's his face is gay.
Buckingham,
which I didn't know was gay with the king, who was gay, which I also didn't know.
It's one of my favorite fun facts. Really,
that shows you how much I know.
I guess it hasn't been confirmed, but like, in all accounts, like, let's be real.
Yeah. When was Oscar Wilde alive? I know he was in Ireland, but
he was alive in the late 1800s. So
in the late 1800s. Yeah.
So this is like beginning of the 1800s, right? And
so the 1800s was a good time for the gay men. Not the best of times. They still had to pretend they weren't, but you know.
I would say it's probably not a good time.
Maybe not a good time. I don't know. Is it ever a good time?
Buckingham was alive in the 1600s, so that was bad too.
Yeah, that's bad. I take it all back.
Also, Oscar got sent to jail for
Yeah, but he's iconic. I mean, he really made an impact. I mean,
He really did. You're right.
And he had a really good time until he went to jail. That's what I'm saying.
I
And
guess
he's like an
no, yeah.
icon. Maybe I should say there are more
There's a lot of
iconic gay
iconic
men than I realized there were historically.
Oh yeah. I
And of
mean, no,
course I
you're
didn't
totally
know
right.
because they didn't want people to know. But now I'm like, but I want to know.
Yeah, people are like, sorry, King James Bible guy, he's not gay. I'm like, yes, he is.
You're like, but he is
Sorry.
actually, though. And also, so is the Duke that was supposedly in love with Anne, according to
Also,
Alexandre
so was
Dumas.
Orlando Bloom in that movie.
So,
So let's
you know what? Oh, that's so
exactly.
funny. I love that. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
See, was there anything else about this book that we want to say? Anything we missed?
I enjoyed it. I know it was very long, but I think, Alexandra, he can write a good book.
I agree. I totally agree.
He's a plot guy. Like when
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
yeah.
want to
Not a
read Count of
character
Monte
guy.
Cristo now because I love the movie. The movie
I haven't
has
seen it.
one of the best plots of anything I have ever
See,
consumed
now I want to
media-wise.
read it and watch it because the
It is
plot
you should
was impeccable. It was so
It's
fun.
so good. Yeah. And Count of Monte Cristo's plot is, well, at least the movie. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The movie is like
Yeah.
insanity. We should have a movie night and watch it. And then
I'm so down. And then we can make our D&D costumes.
and then we can make our D&D. This is the next party. I love how everyone on the podcast gets to hear about all our parties.
It's good to hear us plan. Our parties are Kendall and I
Yes.
drinking and watching a movie and doing something crafty. That's usually our party, which is
perfect.
perfect. It's great. Cool. I'm ready whenever you're ready. You let me know. I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. I'll call you
Javi's
up, girl.
gone again also, so I have literally all the free time. I mean, not because of chores, but like all the social time is totally free.
Yep.
Yep. How many pinkies up would you give this book?
I'm going to give it 4 pinkies up because I really like. I think he's a good writer.
Mm-hmm.
I did feel it was kind of long.
It was, but all of it was fun.
All like of Dickens. It was fun though. That's the thing. Like what? Yeah.
Not like Dickens.
Oh, I thought you said like Dickens, and I was about to be excited.
No. I know. I saw you get happy, and I was like, she clearly didn't hear what I said. No. Unlike
I'm over
Dickens,
here like David Copperfield.
All this is
David
fun.
Copperfield audiobook is 35 hours long, and I'm like,
what a nightmare. So LOL. No, absolutely not.
But and I was pissed off about some of the character choices. So for me, that knocks down a star. But
I get that.
I think it was good.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Good. I give it 4.5 pinkies up because I would absolutely read it again. Yeah. The last half, it literally, the only reason, I'm not even counting anything off for length because it was long as hell, but I enjoyed all of it. The half star or half pinky that's off, we amputated half a pinky, I should say, because of the character inaccuracies. There's just no way. Specifically with the way the guys treated the girls and then didn't get any comeuppance, but the women had to suffer all the consequences. So true. Hated that. So we lost half a pinky for that. But 4.5 otherwise, which might be one of the highest ratings I've ever given a classic. So I would definitely read it again.
Surprised, honestly. Although I guess I'm not surprised because you're an action girl, and this is an action book.
It's a straight action book.
Swashbuckling. Yeah.
I love swashbuckling. This was all swashbuckling. It was delightful. And then we got Milady, who was like, a horrible person, but like in such a great, cool way. And for a woman, awesome. I'm like, I don't even care that you're a horrible person because we had so few like female deathly role models. I just like that I have a lethal role model.
Exactly. It's like I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Did you come up with that?
No, I'm not that smart. Somebody
but
said
I do. Twitter. I do though. Whoever said that on Twitter, I kind of also do. I don't in a serious sense, but in a fictional sense, I absolutely do.
Absolutely.
100%. I feel like we have to take our wins where we have them, even if they weren't well won. So I don't care.
So true. She died at the end, but she took some people down with her.
That's all I'm here for. I really do love when a villain who's been wronged takes down the people who did them wrong with them. I'm like, I don't care if you lose as long as you take down as many people as possible in your wake.
You know what? Maybe Athos should have died. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I kind of think maybe he should have. I might have liked the ending more, to be honest.
I was pissed off at him, and he never really like gave a good explanation for that. So I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention. I'm just gonna throw this in really quick. Sorry, listeners, for this, but also you're welcome because This inspired me so much. And I've thought this before, but you know how people are always doing sorry, mostly I should apologize to you, Ash, for this, but
I was like, what
you know
are
how
we
people
doing?
are always doing fan casts for Muppet movies based on classic literature. This would be
No,
the perfect Muppet movie.
you're right.
Would it not?
It would be. I don't
Okay,
even
here's
like the
the
Muppets,
thing.
but you're 100% correct.
It's so perfect. It casts itself, and I've made a slideshow with my casting choices. I was doing this yesterday
Okay.
while listening.
I need you to tell me.
Okay, so I'll just tell you the basic ones.
Okay.
But here's the thing that makes it such perfect material for a Muppet adaptation.
It's
We've only
insane.
had two classic literature Muppet adaptations so far, and they've been
Mm-hmm.
Treasure Island, which I've talked about at length and I won't go into
Mm-hmm.
again,
And A
and
Christmas
Christmas
Carol.
Carol,
Yeah.
which I've also talked about a lot, but because they're both so good.
Yeah.
But the thing that those things have in common is there's hardly any women in them. And unfortunately, as much
True.
as I love the Muppets, there are like no women in the Muppets. We have Miss
Yeah.
Piggy, with Janice, and we have like Camilla the chicken, and that's it. So it's really kind of hard to do sometimes. People have been talking a
Yeah.
lot about like we should do Pride and Prejudice Muppets, and I'm like,
Oh,
that's a fun idea.
LOL.
It would
You
never
can't.
work.
No.
Never.
So we don't have girl Muppets. And you can't just introduce a new one now. That would be crazy.
No. And
No.
the thing about the Muppets is you have to have a good like human to Muppet cast ratio.
Ugh.
Like I think it works best based on the other two classic literature adaptations. The main character should be a human, and
Yeah.
then the rest are mostly Muppets, and the main villain can be a human, but the rest are
You're
Muppets.
so right.
So
Like D'Artagnan can be a human and all the Musketeers can be Muppets and Milady can be
yes,
Miss Piggy.
yeah, yeah, yes. See, you get it. You
Yes,
get the
I get
vision.
it.
Miss
I don't
Piggy
even
is
like the Muppets and I
clearly
totally get it. I would watch
Miss
it. I would
Piggy.
watch this one.
You would watch it. See, that's what I'm
Yep.
saying. Miss
Yeah.
Piggy is so clearly Milady. It's like the most perfect choice. And get this, Kermit as Athos.
That's really, really
They
good.
have a history. They still get
Yep.
to be romantic interests.
Yep.
And
It's
because we're
excellent.
changing it for the movie, obviously he's not as bad as
We
he
have
is in the
to.
book.
No. Yeah, we
And
have to.
here are my other two choices for the Musketeers. Fozzie as Porthos. I know you won't
That's
really
good.
understand this, but
That's
you
okay.
kind of get it.
I kind of get
And
it. Yeah.
Gonzo as Aramis. Hear me out. I think it works. We can have all of his side bitches being chickens. It's so
LOL.
good.
That's
And
amazing.
he's charismatic. He's romantic. Like it works.
He's very religious now.
He's religious now.
I would like to see it.
And here was my choice for D'Artagnan. And everyone, don't get mad at me. I know I'm correct. Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet as D'Artagnan.
This is a genius idea. You're correct.
Don't you want to see him acting
Yes.
with Muppets? He would be
Yes.
so good. Plus,
I
he's
do
got
want to
that
see
French
that so
thing going.
badly. He's got that French thing going. You're 100% correct, and I think you need to take that to Hollywood right now. They could make so much
Thanks.
money. I can't believe they haven't done that.
Stole my idea. I think it's the perfect classic literature adaptation for the Muppets, and they won't do it. I'm
so
going
upsetting.
to tag Disney and everything. Here,
I think you really,
I am
really
going
should.
to put my slideshow on Twitter.
Do it.
Anyway, maybe I'll share it on the pod instead if anyone wants to see my
that
slideshow.
too. Put it everywhere. We're gonna try and make this happen. We're gonna make people pay attention to us.
Pay attention. We will not be silent.
We will not be silenced. We need a Muppets Three Musketeers.
You're so sweet. Even you as a Muppets not liker.
I don't even I even actively dislike the Muppets, but I still want this to exist, which is how Hollywood should know that this is a hole in one. Like absolutely. I would even watch it as someone who actively dislikes one of the like 1 out of 10 people in the whole world who dislike the Muppets. I would still watch it, and I think it should exist. It's perfect for that.
Well, thank you for letting me have my spiel.
Of course. Thank you for sharing. I am in complete and total agreement. Even as someone who hates it, I still would watch it. Is there anything else we want to say about this book?
Nope.
All right. Well, next week, very exciting. We're covering 1,000 Heartbeats, or sorry, not next week, the week after next. We're covering 1,000 Heartbeats by Curate Cast with, I believe, our pod astrologist is going to join us again.
Yeah.
So exciting. Catherine joined us for the selection. She's going to come back for this one, 1,000 Heartbeats. We just got to actually go to a Q&A with Curate Cast, Spoons and I did, and she signed a book, which, hooray, exciting. We're doing a giveaway. And so we're doing it for the new year. So I will try and get that info up, but we are doing a Happy New Year giveaway book stuff because you guys got us to over 1,000 followers on Instagram. Thank you so much. If you guys want to keep following us, it is That Pretentious Book Club on Instagram and TikTok. Every time we get like a big new group of followers on Instagram, we do another giveaway. So please follow us, share us with your friends. The more followers we get, the more giveaways we do. And we do some really badass giveaways also.
Yeah, our giveaways rock.
They really do rock. If you're someone who likes books, and I assume you do if you're here, it's a badass giveaway. We reach out to independent artists, small businesses, all kinds of good stuff. And so it's all fun stuff, all stuff that you'll like, including a signed copy of 1,000 Heartbeats that we got signed in person from Kira Cass. So that will be included along with a lot of other fun stuff. So go follow us on Instagram. If you're not following, you also will not be able to enter the giveaway. So go follow now. And also just follow us if you like to see like fun bookish stuff, because it's up there. Lots of fun book memes too. You guys can also, if you want to support the pod, you can find us on patreon.com/StorySirenStudio. That is our production company. And all of our video episodes are up there as well. And you can see them. And they are super, I mean, I don't know about super fun. I think fun, because you can see the faces we're making while we're saying the dumb shit that we're saying. And now you guys can see the pretty calming aesthetic of my green walls and repainted door and trim. So if you guys want to see that, go to patreon.com/StorySirenStudio. You can also get exclusive merch there. But if you just want like cool bookish merch and you're like, I don't really want to support you on a monthly basis, that's okay too. You can go to thatpretentiousbookclub.com or StorySirenStudio.com. Same place. We have a store, lots of very cool bookish merch. The holiday merch is coming down soon. So if you guys want to get any of it for next year, go grab it. There's no promises that it'll be back again next year. We never know for sure. So go check that out now. And I think that's everything we've got. If you liked us, please leave a review. If you guys have book suggestions, reach out to us on social media or email us at contact@StorySirenStudio.com. And until next week, keep your teacups full,
your pinkies high,
and your book club
pretentious.